Excerpts from the larger Pure Land Sutra, Part 1, Sections 5 and 6. The Buddha, Lokesvara Raja, and his disciple Dharmākara. Dharmākara praises the Buddha in verses. Dharmākara sees many Buddha lands and resolves to establish his own. Then there appeared a Buddha named Lokesvara Raja, the Tathagata, possessed of wisdom, knower of the world, teacher, and world-honored one. At that time there was a king who, having heard the Buddha's exposition of the Dharma, rejoiced in his heart and awakened aspiration for highest perfect enlightenment. He renounced his kingdom and throne and became a monk named Dharmākara. Having superior intelligence, courage, and wisdom, he distinguished himself in the world. He went to see the Tathagata Lokesvara Raja, knelt down at his feet, walked around him 3 times, keeping him always on his right, prostrated himself on the ground, and, putting his palms together in worship, praised the Buddha with these verses. The shining face of the Buddha is glorious. Boundless is his magnificence. Radiant splendor such as his is beyond all comparison. The sun, the moon, and the Mani gem, though shining with dazzling brightness, are completely dimmed and obscured, as if they were a pile of ink sticks. The countenance of the Tathagata is beyond compare in the whole world. The great voice of the enlightened one resounds throughout the 10 directions. His morality, learning, endeavor, absorption in meditation, wisdom, and magnificent virtues have no equal. They are wonderful and unsurpassed. He meditates deeply and directly on the oceanic Dharma of all Buddhas. He knows its depth and breadth and penetrates to its farthest end. Ignorance, greed, and anger are forever absent in the world-honored one. He is the lion, the most valiant of all men. His glorious virtue is unlimited. His meritorious achievements are vast. His wisdom is deep and sublime. His light, with awe-inspiring glory, shakes the universe of 1,000 million worlds. I resolve to become a Buddha, equal in attainment to you, O holy King of the Dharma, to save living beings from birth and death, and to lead them all to liberation. My discipline in giving, or dana, mind control, moral virtues, or sila, patience, or shanti, and effort, or virya, and also in meditation, or dhyana, and wisdom, or prajna, will be supreme and unsurpassed. I vow that when I have become a Buddha, I shall carry out this promise everywhere. And to all fear-ridden beings shall I give great peace. Even though there are Buddhas 1,000 million kotis in number, and multitudes of great sages, countless as the sands of the Ganges River, I shall make offerings to all those Buddhas. I shall seek the supreme way, resolutely and tirelessly. Even though the Buddha lands are as incalculable as the sands of the Ganges River, and other regions and worlds are also without number, my light shall reach everywhere, pervading all those lands. Such being the result of my efforts, my glorious power will be immeasurable. When I have become a Buddha, my land shall be most exquisite, and its people wonderful and unexcelled. The seat of enlightenment will be supreme. My land, being like nirvana itself, will be beyond comparison. I take pity on living beings and resolve to save them all. Those who come from the 10 directions will find joy and serenity of heart. When they reach my land, they shall dwell in peace and happiness. I beg you, the Buddha, to become my witness and to vouch for the truth of my aspiration. Having now made my vows to you, I will strive to fulfill them. The world-honored ones in the 10 directions have unhindered wisdom. I call upon those revered ones to bear witness to my intention Even though I must remain in a state of extreme pain, I will diligently practice, enduring all hardships with tireless vigor." The Buddha said to Ananda, having spoken these verses, Bhikshu Dharmākara said to the Buddha Lokesvara Raja, quote, "Respectfully, world-honored one, I announce that I have awakened aspiration for the highest perfect enlightenment. I beseech you to explain the Dharma to me fully, so that I can perform practices for the establishment of a pure Buddha land adorned with innumerable excellent qualities. So please teach me how to attain enlightenment quickly, and to remove the roots of the afflictions of birth and death of all." The Buddha said to Ananda. At that time, the Buddha Lokesvara Raja replied to Bhikshu Dharmākara, "You yourself should know by what practice you can establish a glorious Buddha land." The Bhikshu said to the Buddha, "That is far too vast and deep for my comprehension. I sincerely beseech you, world-honored one, to explain in detail the practices by which Buddha Tathagatas established their pure lands. After I hear that, I wish to practice as instructed and so fulfill my aspirations." At that time, the Buddha Lokesvara Raja recognized Bhikshu Dharmākara's noble and high aspirations and taught him as follows, quote, "If, for example, one keeps on bailing water out of a great ocean with a pint measure, one will be able to reach the bottom after many kalpas and then obtain rare treasures. Likewise, if one sincerely, diligently, and unceasingly seeks the way, one will be able to reach one's destination. What vow is there that cannot be fulfilled?" Then the Buddha Lokesvara Raja explained in detail the greater and lesser aspects of 210 kotis of Buddha lands, together with the good and evil natures of heavenly and human beings living there. He revealed them all to the Bhikshu, just as he had requested. Then the Bhikshu, having heard the Buddha's exposition of the glorious Pure Lands, and also having seen all of them, resolved upon his supreme, unsurpassed vows. His mind being serene, and his aspirations free of attachment, he was unexcelled throughout the world. For 5 full kalpas he contemplated the vows, and then chose the pure practices for the establishment of his Buddha land. After that, Dharmākara Bodhisattva adopted the pure practices that had led to the establishment of the excellent lands of 210 kotis of Buddhas. When he had finished this task, he went to the Buddha, knelt down at his feet, walked around him 3 times, joined his palms in worship, and sat down. He then said to the Buddha, "I have adopted the pure practices for the establishment of a glorious Buddha land." The Buddha said to him, "You should proclaim this. Know that now is the right time. Encourage and delight the entire assembly." Hearing this, other bodhisattvas will practice this Dharma and so fulfill their innumerable great vows. The Bhikshu replied, "I beg you to grant me your attention. Now I will fully proclaim my vows."